control it. You know your lips are golden, baby, get me high. Touching me like lightning, keeping it exciting. You know exactly what to do to blow my mind. You're from another planet. I've never felt like this. I don't know how I ever survived without it. I'm starry-eyed, got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body, boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. This bed is out of space, just keep painting constellations. You cover me in glitter till I'm shining bright. I never wanna leave the sky. The way you made me feel alive. I was in the dark and baby, you're the light. You're from another planet. I've never felt like this. I don't know how I ever survived without it. I'm starry-eyed, got me upside down, spinning around you. Got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body, boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. Losing all my focus, I can't even control it. You know your lips are golden, baby, get me high. Touching me like lightning, keeping it exciting. You know exactly what to do to blow my mind. You're from another planet. I've never felt like this. I don't know how I ever survived without it. I'm starry-eyed, got me upside down, spinning around you. Wanna taste the clouds, dance with the moon. Take a trip around your body, boy, I love the way you got me. Starry-eyed, got me starry-eyed. This bed is out of space, just keep painting constellations. You cover me in glitter till I'm shining bright. I never wanna leave the sky. The way you made me feel alive. I was in the dark and baby, you're the light. You're from another planet. I've never felt like this. I don't know how I ever survived without it. I'm starry-eyed, got me upside down, spinning around you.
Same thing that the white man has done for himself and his kind. If our people could if we could be cured of our slave mentality that was indoctrinated into us during slavery, we would realize that just as the white man can do these things for himself and his kind, we can get together in unity and harmony and do the same thing for ourselves and our kind. The white man has brainwashed the so-called Negro to the point of believing in white supremacy so much that today some Negroes think that they're not making progress, so they don't have anything unless they're living in a white neighborhood, unless they have the white man's neighborhood, a seat in the white man's school, or a position on the white man's job, and they even have taken it so far they don't think they're successful in life unless they have a white woman as a wife.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of ATP Live on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. I'm your host, Andre Morton. And again, I apologize for the camera quality. I'm going to try to get new cameras. I got another laptop coming. Like, I'm trying to up my game. This camera situation is horrible. Like, you know, I guess the camera quality on is the reason why people ain't watching the clips. But, it is what it is. I understand YouTube is kind of suppressing us because I noticed we stopped getting the subscribers. We usually get like at least 2 or 3 a day. But it ain't about that right now. So yeah, man, you heard Malcolm X, and to be honest with you, I used to be like that. I used to think like, hey, if I lived in a white man's neighborhood, I made it in life, or please the white man in some kind of way, I made it in life. But that's man, I took advantage of not really learning about Malcolm X at a young age. I think I would have been better off mentally. Now I move differently. Now, since I listen to a lot of Malcolm X's speeches and stuff like that, and he was so right. And the reason why, and I think the reason why he got killed by the FBI is because he was right. And I hate to say it like this, but when certain people they don't like to be talked down to, and Malcolm X told the truth, and they didn't like that. So yeah, how y'all doing on this Sunday? It's warming back up, I guess. Yeah, I like the weather, to be honest with you. Man. Whew. Yeah, man, I got a few things to talk about. Um, yeah. The first one I got to talk about. Oh yeah, before I get to the first topic, got one shameless plug. Like the video helps us out in the algorithm. Man, I need a haircut. She's real bad. Jeez. And also to follow me and Tyre Peasant, the co-founder of the network, on Red Note, aka Little Red Book. Tyre Peasant 85, that's hers, and mine is Andre X24. We right there, man. We always posting stuff on a daily basis. I guess it's like our beginning stages of leaving Twitter, because Twitter was our mainstay for a long time. But after Tyre Peasant's big account, Hurl Girl, got nuked, and Twitter been suppressing me for almost 7 months now. Like people aren't seeing my stuff, and I had to literally stop saying this, to Israel, because that's why they suppressed me. But they suppressing other people too now, as I can see. Like I can tell, like other accounts that are getting more traction, they're not anymore, and people are leaving Twitter for Blue Sky and Red Note, and I don't blame them. But I'm gonna say this: Red Note, you gotta, don't cuss a lot on Red Note. I heard that if you cuss a whole lot, they'll like terminate your account. So that's just a side note for everybody. In Blue Sky, I mean it's Jack's platform, so yeah, like I'm pretty sure the CIA and the FBI gonna get to him and tell him to censor this, censor that. But Blue Sky is still small, so I'm pretty sure you can say whatever you want right there for the time being. All right, guys. So enough of me talking a lot. Let's get to the first story. All right, guys. So the first story I want to talk about is this. Narcissists do not like to admit that they lost. They'll say it behind the scenes, like Trump or Elon Musk or even Mark Zuckerberg. Shout out to Michael on the A&M podcast saying that. Zuckerberg, I like that. But yeah, Twitter it's not dead, but it's slowly dying a slow death. I don't even look on the timeline anymore. That's how bad it's gotten. Now I do post stuff on there. Like obviously I got this on there now. I'm streaming to Twitter, but /X. I don't know why I'm even calling it X. It's fucking Twitter. Like it will always be Twitter, even if it dies because you got a idiot running just tanking the platform. Like it will always be Twitter. But some people went to Blue Sky. Some people probably went back to Meta or whatever. Like, why you go to Meta for them to still take more of your data? Like, but Twitter takes your data too. Elon even admitted himself, like, your tweets is used to train Grok, his AI thing. So, yeah, like, again, but they decided to delete TikTok because your privacy, national security issues. Yeah, when you start realizing that our government is full of shit in a lot of ways, you'll be like, oh, this makes sense. Like, yeah, propaganda is a motherfucker. But anyway, back to this. It says in leaked email, Elon Musk admits defeat on Twitter. Like, yeah, in leaked email, like behind the scenes, basically. Um, it says cutting losses. Yes, his Twitter is losing money. Banks that loaned multi-hyphenate billionaire Elon Musk an approximable 13 billion for his ill-advised 44 billion acquisition of Twitter in late 2022 are getting ready to offload billions of debt they accrued as a result. The Wall Street Journal reports the hope is to minimize the hurt as they sell off the debt, a massive scar haunting the mercurial CEO's disastrous social media platform spree. Yeah, this article I got it from. Yeah, they obviously hate Twitter. They hate it. It's funny. Disastrous. And after a chaotic couple of years and Musk seemingly doing his best to wipe out what is left of the platform, largely ad-dependent revenue, with increasingly erratic behavior, X, formerly Twitter's finances, have yet to recover. The company is still drowning in accumulated debt while owners are struggling with massive interest payments. In short, the financials are still looking pretty dire, as Musk himself admitted in a January email to staff, reviewed by the Wall Street Journal. He said, our growth is stagnant. Revenue is impressive and unimpressive, and we're barely breaking even, he admitted. Yeah, dude, like, you have Nazis saying openly racist shit on your platform. Now, I'm not saying to delete the Nazis off the platform. Just regulate it so they won't say that shit. You see what I'm saying? Well, fuck Nazis. Delete them. But I'm just saying, y'all know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be a censor, I'm not pro censorship. Like, you deleted accounts that are pro Palestine. Like, but you won't delete people that say racist shit all the time on your platform. Like, every time I log on to Twitter and go on the Explore tab, it's nothing but right wing hacks talking about how good Israel is and, all Palestinians are Hamas and all that crazy shit. Like, yeah, Twitter is a cesspool. And don't forget about the bots on there, man. My God. Like, the same bots that called me all kinds of names. I found out later they were bots. They weren't real people because I'm pro Palestine. Yeah, like, people, yeah, like, oh God, it did. You charging people to go live. Like, I have to pay you $8 a month to go live when I could go live on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch for fucking free. Like, I don't want a blue check mark. I just want to go live. And I want to promote mutual aid. And turns out that you, Elon, as well, suppressed the links to go to any website. So basically I'm wasting my time with that. I just realized that as well. But let me continue, man. It says scraping by. Musk on action, including racist tirades, tantrum, and personal insults, sent advertisers, which the advertisers came back, by the way. I hope it mentions that here. I doubt it. The platform's top source of revenue running up for the hills. X has maintained its financials are improving with brands coming back to advertise on the platform. Yeah, so that's crazy. The same advertisers said that, yeah, it's too much racist shit on them. We go, but they back. Which means to say to me is that they don't care what people say, as long as people buy their shit. Yeah, you can say, unalive all people, also types of people, and it'd be a Disney Plus ad on underneath the tweet. So they don't care, man. Let me see. It says, but as the increasingly hate speech filled microblogging site continues. Wow, these words are crazy. To embrace what it claims to be free speech. Oh God, I got a lot to say about that. Several key competitors, including Meta's Threads and Twitter's alternate Blue Sky, have emerged. Well, Threads ain't shit. I'll say that. Like, Threads is just none but Instagram influencers on there just tweeting. And Blue Sky, it is a very carbon copy of Twitter, but it's so limited, man. Like, you can't go live, you can't post long videos, you can't send pictures in the DMs, you can't have group chats. So yeah, Blue Sky got a long way to go. But I mean, it says free speech. Oh God, don't get me started on the free speech. Like, yeah, I've been suppressed, but my friend account got nuked, and she was on her quote unquote best behavior. Like, she hasn't done what I done. Like, you could say I'm obligated to get suspended because some of the stuff I said on there in the past, especially doing this. So, like, I know they did not like me doing that, but yeah, free speech does not exist. Even Elon reneged on that. He said, it's not about freedom of speech, it's about freedom of reach. Yeah, yeah, but just yeah, he advertised him buying Twitter off of that just to get people on it, which worked to a certain extent, but people are constantly leaving the platform. Um, both platforms have seen a dramatic influx of new users fleeing Twitter, indicating widespread disillusionment with Musk's disdain for content moderation and embrace the extreme far right. Now that Musk have capitulated himself into the political world stage by throwing himself at Trump's feet, no, it's the opposite. Elon Musk brought his way to the presidential. He brought himself to the. He brought himself to the presidency. Banks are seemingly seeing this moment as an opportunity to sell their debt without incurring huge losses. In short, it says Musk's acquisition of Twitter remains a major blemish on his resume. I kind of disagree with that. But at the same time, the platform has turned out to be a powerful tool for propagating fire holes of hate speech, state propaganda, and disinformation. Yeah, hate speech is there. Hate speech is everywhere. Like, all why people act like Twitter is the only platform where people just say hurtful things. Like those trolls, those bots. Yeah, they on Instagram, TikTok too. Every platform has hate speech. I guess what they saying is it's not being moderated, which it's not. I mean, it's not really being moderated on any platform. Like, you say something randomly on Facebook, or you say Free Palestine on TikTok, and your comment get removed. But see what I'm saying? Like, it's just inconsistency on all sides here. Then they say state propaganda. I guess they talking about I mean, that is true. Like saying like I hope they're assuming state propaganda is people speaking up for Palestinians. I guess that's what they're meaning. I'm pretty sure this is a corporate article I'm reading. And then they say disinformation. I mean, disinformation is everywhere. Disinformation on Facebook too. Like, literally on Facebook, man. Profits. People are pretending to profit, selling people to save to stack up on food and stuff because the end of the world is coming. Like that's disinformation. okay, but Twitter's the only one doing it, and fuck Twitter at this point. Like, I don't even want to use it anymore, but I have to. Um, over the last few months, we're witnessing the power of X shaping in national conversation outcome. Musk wrote in the email. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I think Twitter is dying a very, very slow death. Something else gonna pop off. Like, the advertisers came back, which is part of their saving grace. But yeah, like, Elon took a platform that was used to spread information faster than the other ones, like, and he just turned it into a cesspool. Um, like suspending people that are pro-Palestine or people that hasn't done anything, hasn't said anything, suppressing people that are using their free speech, like saying this to Israel again, like, that's free speech. The same guy that says that, hey, you can't say from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Um, Like, see, stuff like that makes people flee from the site. So, all right, guys, on to the next story. Okay, guys, before I get to the story, remember, hit the like button. It's free and it don't cost you a damn thing. Oh man, like on Big Bang Theory, like y'all not hitting that like button. You know, Leonard said, "You don't know me. You don't know my pain." See, y'all paining me because y'all not hitting that like button. You know, we a very small channel and YouTube is not letting us grow. So when y'all hit that like button, y'all making us y'all making us grow. I'm a fool, man. So anyway, this next story is about, oh god, DEI, man. Like, DEI, in my opinion, has been a fraud, a scam for a while. I mean, I'm not surprised that since Trump back in office, you know, it's for these corporations, like, you know, so even the Democrats is in office. Well, uprising for George Floyd, then a Democrat coming there, you know, DEI, you know, diversity, inclusion, and equity, yeah. But now, since Trump back in there, and Trump himself is firing people, I mean, government positions that are DEI roles. Companies are doing it too. Not firing the employees, but they're just not talking about it anymore. It says, this is from Forbes. It said DEI under fire. Target rolls back diversity plans as Costco keeps them. Here's the list of major corporations dropping DEI. I'm gonna make this bigger again because I know y'all probably can't see it. It says Target became the latest company to nix diversity, equity, and inclusion goals Friday, as a growing wave of companies pull back on their DEI compliments following President Donald Trump's election, as Trump has already vowed to eliminate federal DEI programs and slam DEI at the World Economic Forum in Davos this week. Yeah. So I'm gonna read this. This is the latest one. It says Target, which has curbed its LGBTQ pride merchandise, which was because a whole bunch of right wingers was protesting it, which right winger, most likely people on the right don't shop at Target. They shop at, never mind. It don't matter where they shop at. I'm just saying, like, yeah, yeah. Um, lying in response to conservative backlash, they announced they will pull back on racial hiring targets in its racial equity action and change program and cease participation in external diversity surveys, with Chief Community Impact and Equity Officer Kiara Fernandez telling employees in a memo the decisions were made based on many years of data in an effort to stay in step with the evolving external landscape. Yeah, in other words, they're saying that, it's hurting our numbers pretty hard. Like, yeah, it's all about the money. We thought DEI was going to boost our numbers, but we see that, the conservatives don't like, still like it's 1965, like, LGBTQ people don't deserve attention. They don't deserve to have their own month. We try to, even though we making money off them, we still show their merchandise and stuff like that. Yeah, y'all know what I'm saying. So yeah, like, let's end all this, let's hold hands, kumbaya moment. Let's just go back to normal making money. Oh man, then it says Costco shareholders overwhelmingly voted a rejected proposal that will have obligated the company to review the potential risks of maintaining DEI initiatives, with more than 98% of shareholders voting against appeal. So that's what it's all about, man. It's all about the shareholders, bro. Like, if it ain't making money, the shareholders don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. So it says conservative groups, including the National Legal and Policy Center and National Center for Public Policy Research, have filed shareholder proposals urging Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan Chase to review and possibly end their diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, while the NLPC and Heritage Foundation urged Bank of America and Citigroup to review whether they have surveilled customers based on religious or political belief. The Wall Street Journal reported. So, Yeah. Then it says here, in an executive order issued on the first day of his second term, President Donald Trump ordered the elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion programs within the federal government. But it had also threatened to punish some private entities like public companies, nonprofit, and universities that use them. Oh God, right here it says the FBI confirmed in a statement to Forbes that it closed its DEI office back in back in December, by the way. A frequent target attacks by Republicans in December, yep, prompting President-elect Donald Trump to demand the agency to preserve and maintain all records relating to the shuttered office as he accused the FBI of corruption in a True Social post. Oh man, then it says Amazon, this is back in June 10th. Amazon said we'll roll back on what is called outdated programs and materials. Why they gotta name it like that? Just say we're rolling back on Kumbaya, the Kumbaya program. In an internal memo citing employee programs were established to address a specific disparity, though it did not specify what would be discontinued. Amazon operates employee-led research groups for Black, LGBTQ women, indigenous staffers, and more. Yeah, Amazon, the same ones that damn near like in their warehouses, like damn near treat their employees like slaves, bro. Like no air conditioning. I read one thing about an employee was working on a forklift, and apparently Amazon must have the equipment to make sure the forklift was stable, and the forklift crushed the guy. Like, they're Amazon, but yeah, oh, we care about the LGBTQ and the blacks and the indigenous peoples. Because we Amazon, we care. We care so much. Oh, God, I hate these fucking corporations, man. Oh, God, Meta enters a chat. Meta said in a memo, the company ended several programs intended to increase its hiring in diverse candidates, including its equity and inclusion training programs. After Danielle Gale, Meta vice president of People, said the legal and policy landscape surrounding DEI in the U.S. is changing. Translation: Trump there and data, and since Trump said fuck DEI, we say fuck DEI too. Then it says McDonald's still boycott McDonald's, guys. Announced it would abandon specific diversity targets, cease participation in external surveys that measure company demographics, and would rename its diversity team to Global Inclusion Team. Wow, fancy name. Citing the Supreme Court decision that ended affirmative action at universities and similar DEI wallbacks by other corporations, though it said it would continue to report demographic information in its own manual report. Wow. Even back in November 25th, Walmart, it said it will abandon its DEI commitments, including winding down a Center for Racial Equity nonprofit it founded in 2020. Of course, right? George Floyd rising, people fed up with police brutality, and these corporations said, oh, we feel no pain, so we finna come up with this penny foundation that gives you pennies. Why we make billions upon billions of dollars, because we care about everybody. Walmart, the same place that employees have to be on social safety net programs because they don't pay enough. Yeah. And most of those employees, I'm pretty sure those employees are black and indigenous too. So, yeah, definitely care. You don't care. You don't give a fuck. Okay. It says here. That let me see. Fire commitment ceasing third-party sellers from offering certain LGBTQ themed products on his website. Yeah, because Target faced major backlash from that. No longer participating in the human rights campaign, external surveys, and phasing out the term diversity, equity, and inclusion in company documents. Oh God, Boeing. Oh God, the same Boeing that let people put on parts of the plane by jumping on top of it. Yeah, like, oh God, what the fuck they gotta say? Boeing dismantled its global diversity, equity, and inclusion department and redirected its staff to human resources department to focus on talent acquisition and employee experience. Bloomberg reported. Damn, this goes back to September. I'm gonna read two more of this and I'm done, because I'm pretty sure I get the memo. Like, nearly all of these corporations are banning DEI, which I said earlier, like DEI was not implemented correctly, and it was used for mostly but money game. It says Molson Coors, which had a 2023 defended a feminine theme ad that sparked conservative backlash. I remember that. Said it would abandon supplier diversity quotas, shift DEI training sessions to focus on business objectives, and stop participating in external diversity surveys. Despite previously receiving a perfect 100 from Human Rights Campaign for its LGBTQ policies. Then this is the last one I'm gonna read. Yeah, I'll read this in the forward. Lowe's, in a internal memo, said it would combine its employee resource groups into one umbrella organization. Cease participating in HRC surveys and will stop participating in external events like primaries. Damn. Wow. I'm pretty sure, you still have pride without having a corporation in it. So I'm pretty sure when June comes around, it won't be advertisers changing their logos in rainbow colors, right? I guess that's, they never gave it. They don't care about the queer community anyway, because my thing is that, if you did, the queer community will have a thriving wage and doing great, but living paycheck to paycheck. The last one I'm gonna read, it said Ford Motor Company informed employees it will start participating in external diversity surveys and would involve its employee resource groups to focus on networking and mentorship to all employees signing involving external and legal environment related to political and social issues. So yeah, y'all. I mean, basically, all of these corporations you saw is more than that. I don't know how many it is. It's a lot more. Saying that, yeah, we're not going to, we're not going to hire based on color or race. We're just going to go by our old school ways. Which, to me, DEI ain't a bad idea. The problem is that when you use it as a financial material gain to get by over using it as it's what it should be used for, it's a problem. Even for black folks. Like, black folks see what y'all doing. Queer people know what y'all doing. Like, y'all don't care about black people. Y'all don't care about queer people. Y'all definitely don't care about indigenous people. Because if you did, why you'd be poisoning their water in their areas, their reservation. But anyway, like, I'm glad it's ending. Like, these corporations were never serious to begin with. Like, fuck it, right? A lot of people don't like it. I mean, they disappointed there's ending, but you gotta look at the big picture. At the end of the day, with all these corporations, even some of these articles some of these parts of this article I read say they shareholders. They beholden to their shareholders. The CEOs are beholden to the shareholders. When the shareholders ain't satisfied with their numbers, then some changes have to be made. Whether let's end diversity, equity, and inclusion, or let's lay off people, like shit like that. So, all right, guys, on to the next story. Okay, guys, so this story is from More Perfect Union. I give credit to a lot of people like that been woke up for once, and like people that realizing that these politicians are full of shit. Um, the title of this video is called "Donald Trump Said He Will Save American Jobs," which in his first term he outsourced millions, thousands and thousands of jobs. So how are you saving American jobs when you're doing the same thing that Obama and Clinton did as well? Like, this is why we call them the duopoly guys, for a reason. Like they don't do the same shit. It's just the dummies in this case. And well, in a case, they DI. They use the DI expaler, having a black having a black person over something like to cause genocide or somebody like that, like, for example. So yeah, John Deere workers, apparently John Deere, obviously, right, wants to outsource jobs. Like every corporation wants to do that. Like, it saves them so much money, because a lot of these jobs overseas don't have safety, more regulations like we do here. Like, actually having regulation protects the American people. It makes sure when you work at a job, you don't get your hand chopped off or whatnot. You come home in one piece, but In other countries, unfortunately, they don't have those regulations. So yeah, shout out to More Perfect Union from this video. I will not try to play the whole thing out of respect of them. Like, I think you should play the whole video unless it's a real short clip. This is about 10 minutes long. Yeah, so no, this is 3 minutes long. Okay, I play the whole thing. And yeah, here we go. Let me see. Oh, no, it's 13
There's
minutes
a
long.
big label on these backhoes that says proudly built in the USA. But the truth is, the biggest companies that make farm equipment and construction equipment like this,
Hats off to the future.
they've been moving their jobs overseas.
Deere made the determination that, yeah, let's go ahead and pull the trigger on moving some stuff down to Mexico.
In the last year,
Yeah, because Mexico don't have regulation as the United States. Like, yeah, made in America. Like, we don't make nothing in America no more. Like, yeah, they might really, they'll probably assemble it, but the engines, the parts that make the product are made in China, Mexico, Canada. Like, nothing's made here anymore. But they continue.
The biggest makers of farm and construction equipment have laid off thousands of workers across the Midwest.
The company wants us to live in that constant state of fear.
We set out to uncover how these iconic American companies are abandoning the workers that built them.
Not only did they have the gun to our head, they had it cocked as well.
The tactics corporations use to undercut their commitments to good jobs.
They had the perfect divide and conquer strategy.
It's a very powerless position.
One thing that gets me is that when workers unionize, they really aren't asking for the whole pie. They're asking for half of the pie to begin with. I guess, some of them, union leaders sometimes cucks, sometimes are tough, very few, but they're not asking for much. They're asking, can we be treated like human beings? And these corporations give them the big middle finger and tell them to, hey, we'll just lay you off and move our jobs to Mexico. Like, they're not asking for much stuff. They're asking for good health care, asking for more pay, which these corporations generate billions upon billions of dollars every quarter. It's not that hard to pay your employees a thriving wage. $15 an hour, $17, $18, $19 an hour ain't cutting it no more in a lot of these places. When apartments is fucking $2,000 or $3,000 a month for a damn closet. Like, come on, man. Oh, jeez. It's so frustrating.
Right now.
And why American jobs keep disappearing despite politicians' promises to save them.
Not only will we stop our businesses from leaving for foreign lands, but under my leadership, we are going to take other countries' jobs.
I think the million-dollar question is just that. How do we keep the work in the U.S.? What's it look like? How do we do it?
For an average person out of high school, to get hired on John Deere is a pretty big deal.
Chris Larson worked at John Deere for 22 years.
John Deere has been, the premier employer here in Ottumwa and many of the small communities throughout Iowa and Illinois for many, many years. But recently, they've moved the cutting department to Monterrey, Mexico.
In 2024, Deere cut its workforce in Ottumwa by about a third. Some people were laid off, and others, like Chris, were offered voluntary retirement.
One thing that gets me is that they say that's a small town. There's not many jobs to begin with, and most likely to find another job like that, you have to drive like tens of hell, a lot of miles to go there. Like what are these people gonna do? Like, they have no social safety net. Our social safety net in America is basically it's gonna die now under Trump, but even before Trump, it wasn't shit to begin with. Like what he said earlier, like it forced people to early retirement, which saves the money because if you give people retirement, like it won't occur anymore. So you giving them that base amount that you promised them, but just like what they did during the beginning of the pandemic. Well, these airlines forced some of their more experienced pilots to retire in flight. Yeah, pilots to retire because again, money. Like, see, it's all about it's all about the portfolio, man, the stocks. Like like it's not about the people. Like, so here we go.
In 2023, Deere made $10 billion in profit and spent about $8 billion on stock buybacks and dividends.
Deere's in business to make money for their shareholders. Moving to somewhere like Mexico is attractive to them, so you have a cheaper workforce.
Chris says that Deere has used the threat of offshoring to demand concessions from its workers for decades. It really,
Basically saying that if you try to unionize or strike, your job's is gunzo, basically. So it's sad though, but that's what they do.
got started in the 90s after NAFTA.
In a few moments, I will sign the North American Free Trade Act into law. This pact will create a free trade zone stretching from the Arctic to the tropics, the largest in the world, a $6.5 billion market with 370 million people.
NAFTA gradually eliminated tariffs and trade barriers on products passing between the US, Canada, and Mexico. It was a green light for companies to move their factories wherever labor was cheapest.
NAFTA was a collaboration of both the Democratic and Republican parties. They both sold us out.
I remember being on.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, both of them are the same party. It's the duopoly. Yeah, both of them sell you out. Like, I still don't understand. Like, you tell people time and time again that both of these parties are corrupt. Both of these parties take money from these corporations, and then some of these people just defend their side, blue, red, to no eternity. Like, oh, Trump is worse. Oh, this or that. Like, it's been bad. Yeah, it's more open season for some Nazis and rednecks, but bro, it's been bad. Like, even back then, like, that was a Democrat that signed NAFTA and TPP as well into law to fuck over millions of Americans that had high-paying, good-paying jobs. So yeah, and then Bush continued it, like, and Trump still continued with it. Like, also, y'all still got outsourced under him. So both parties, like, I went after Biden hard because he was in power. Now since Trump is in power, I would go after him just as hard. So, jeez Louise. Like, I don't understand, like, why some people, like, think the Democrats are the lesser evil. Like, both of them are evil parties. Like, evil is evil. Like, I hate this lesser of the two evil shit. Like, evil is fucking evil. It's like a murderer that killed two people and another murderer that killed one people. Murder is murder. They are murderers. Jesus.
On the Union Hall floor here in the 90s, I saw it all coming. It began with NAFTA.
Mike Edwards was working an hour's drive away at Deere's competitor, Case New Holland.
I was county chair of the Democratic Party for 8 years. I got to meet a lot of politicians, and I remember in 2004 talking to John Kerry, and I was hammering Senator Kerry about trade laws and the unfair landscape that unions, well, I can't talk about that, I can't do that, and besides, who else are they going to vote for?
See? Now he realized that both parties are corrupt. He realized, it's good that he talked to them. Oh, like, they don't give a shit. Like, he basically saying, like, hey, our jobs are leaving the Midwest. Like, are you gonna do something about it? And John Kerry said, oh, fuck it. Oh, God. Next team.
Since NAFTA, union membership in Iowa and surrounding states has been cut nearly in half. And even many union workers now start out on a lower pay scale than before.
In 1997, Deere threatened to move a couple facilities to Mexico if they didn't do this two-tier system.
Deere.
I get that under Reagan, unions was starting to deteriorate, but you could say the 90s when NAFTA was signed. We could say bye-bye to union jobs. Yeah, bye-bye to them. Yeah, I had to put that in there too.
Pushed its workforce onto a two-tier system, which meant lower pay for new hires. It effectively zeroed out years of wage and benefit gains for future employees. A few years later, Case followed Deere's lead in demanding a tiered contract.
The best way to explain it to you is you and me are working on a job. I've been there, say I'm a senior day worker. I'm making $10 more an hour doing the same job that you're doing right next to me, right? It creates issues in the workplace.
Nick Guernsey is president of the union at Case New Holland's Iowa plant. He explains the tier system created A workers, B workers, and C workers, the lowest paid.
An A worker has not got a pay raise in over 17 years. And the company is really proud of that. We had members that would work 40 plus hours a week in that plant still qualify for state aid food assistance because they didn't make enough money. That's pretty sad when you're...
Think about that. Wow. So only Walmart does that. Some employees have to survive off state aid, food stamp, 10F, whatever. Case workers, bro. And how much revenue Case and Walmart generate? No excuse to live off of food stamps. You working for a corporation that makes more money in an hour than an employee makes in a year. So, yeah.
$1 billion corporation, right?
In 2021, John Deere workers across the Midwest went on strike. 7 months later, Case workers in Iowa and Wisconsin struck too.
So the strike happened because we were trying to close some of the gap issues.
After more than 260 days on the picket line, they reached an agreement on a new contract that included wage increases and upgrades for lower tier workers. But then, about a year later, Case announced it was laying off over 200 of the workers who had fought for that contract and shifting their work to Mexico.
We made great gains, but at the end of the day, when you punch a bully in the mouth, sometimes the bully brings friends, right?
The pattern was the same at John Deere.
Thursday afternoon, workers in the Ottumwa John Deere plant received news that the company is moving mower conditioner production from the Ottumwa plant to a facility located in Monterrey, Mexico. The news has left workers in shock.
A lot of people speculate that these layoffs that we're facing now might be in retaliation.
You know what though, guys? I never got laid off on a job before. So I don't know how it feels to be laid off, but imagine if you have a family, especially, and you have to go home and tell them that, hey, my job, because they don't want to pay us more and give us benefits, they decide to move our jobs to another country because they have lesser regulations and they won't get taxed because of free trade agreements. So yeah, that has to be horrible.
For some of the gains that we made in these contracts.
The layoffs came in the last months of the 2024 campaign. On the road, Donald Trump started talking about them.
I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
I hear is an idiot, man. You put a tariff. John Deere is not paying for those tariffs. Those farmers that need to use their equipment to produce our food that we eat have to pay for those tariffs. He knows this. I think this guy is fooling his base. I get that, but John Deere's not paying for those tariffs. What in the hell are you talking about? God, bro. Man.
2 days after Trump's victory, Case workers in Iowa were called into a meeting.
It was supposed to be just a regular meeting. As we walk into the room, we see individuals that don't normally go to our agenda meetings.
Tracy Chu has worked at Case for 12 years. Her husband, daughter, and son-in-law worked there too.
We knew something was going down.
They gave us this third grade slideshow on what their plan was.
Case announced tentative plans to close its Iowa plant, eliminating over 300 jobs.
Trump, you gonna raise tariffs on case workers too? They closing plants. I don't think they probably moving overseas too. But are you gonna do something about that? No, Trump is not gonna do shit for you. Same with Kamala Harris if she won. Like I'll still be saying the same shit. I just don't understand why people. I talk about one candidate, they assume that you support the other candidate. I don't support neither one of them. I have to keep just saying that because people probably know that I'm not that I don't support either party. Like they know who I am. They just want the bullshit. But again, you gonna raise tariffs on case too?
The products built there would be moved to Italy and to a non-union.
Yep, go put taxes on case too.
Plant in Kansas.
From a family view, from a community view, just absolute devastation, just a smack in the face. It's just not feasible to build a backhoe in Burlington, Iowa anymore.
Why not?
Because it costs too much.
Case showed its workers a presentation comparing its operating costs in different countries, saying that big wage and benefit cuts would be necessary to keep the plant in Iowa.
The total annual labor savings in Burlington would need to be over $33 per hour. So here's what they're saying is we need $33 an hour off the price of this.
And that's the fundamental problem. Companies like Case can pay workers in other countries nearly 10 times less to do the same job. To help offset this disparity, Congress passed an update to NAFTA, the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or the USMCA.
Today, we're finally ending the NAFTA nightmare and signing into law the brand new U.S.-Mexico-Canada agreement. Very special.
The USMCA gave the U.S. the power to penalize union-busting companies in Mexico and even bar their products from the U.S. The hope was that the threat of penalization would make room for worker organizing in Mexico and start to bring Mexican wages more in line with American wages, reducing the corporate incentive to offshore.
But my thing is this: why not punish the corporations for moving their jobs overseas to begin with? So you saying that if a corporation moves to Mexico, pays them poverty wages, then it would give Mexico more power, like to Mexican workers more power to I'm saying it right. Like guys are, I'm just in that mood today, but it just like just my thing is punish the corporations that try to leave and offshore their job somewhere else. Give them a heavy tax burden penalty or something. It'll work. Jeez.
Si pudiera hablar con los compañeros de John Deere, de Caterpillar, el mensaje que les daría a ellos es que aquí en México tienen unos compañeros que están igual que ellos, luchando por mejores salarios.
Victor Manuel Vergara Garcia works for a Mexican subsidiary of Caterpillar, repairing their computers that run Caterpillar's heavy machinery. Like Deere and Case New Holland, Caterpillar increasingly builds its products south of the border, in the last 8 years nearly doubling its Latin American workforce. Victor makes about $3 an hour. In 2023...
See, that's why they outsource jobs. You heard how much that guy makes an hour? $3 an hour. I mean, greed, man. Boy, that's crazy. Like, how much more money do you need? Like, you have enough money for everybody in America that has jobs to live without worrying about whether they got to pay their car payment or the electric bill. If you don't pay the electric bill, they'll cut your lights off, right? If you don't pay your car payment, you in the collection process, which means that they have the right to repossess your vehicle. And then, God forbid, if they actually take your vehicle, if you don't try to hide it, So a lot of people try to hide their shit, which I don't blame them. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do for survival. And then you get it back, and then some dealerships or some, to get your car back, you got to pay for the repo fee on top of your car payment. And sometimes it could be very expensive. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Sorry for that noise, y'all. This stupid neighbor, the same one that leaves his dogs outside in the cold with that damn motorcycle. But anyway, like I almost had my car repossessed one time because I was poor and I was working a shitty job and I had to pay my light bill. Fortunately, I didn't get my car repossessed because the guy at the dealership worked with me. He wasn't. I mean, he wasn't an asshole, but he had bosses that he has to listen to, and I was able to pay it. Had to make double payments, but it was okay. But yeah, like, but again, like back then, like $3 an hour, man, this is why they do it. Greed, man. Like, DEI though, a lot of these corporations, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, but would rather ship a black person's job to Mexico so you could pay Mexican workers $3 an hour. Diversity, equity, inclusion, though. Jesus Christ.
He led an effort to organize an independent democratic union at his plant.
Lo que estamos solicitando es un aumento justo a los salarios, respeto a nuestra libertad sindical, trato digno como trabajadores.
A week after Victor's union won its first vote, the company fired him. That's when the Biden administration decided to use the USMCA. It filed a case against the company, and under pressure, Caterpillar's subsidiary offered to reinstate Victor. It was one of about 30 times that the Biden administration used the USMCA to crack down on corporate labor abuses and help workers organize.
Lo que esperábamos era que con las sanciones.
Yeah, I guess that's a good thing. I admit that, but still broke a railroad strike close. Inconsistent. Just inconsistent, but I continue.
La empresa se sentara con los trabajadores a negociar el contrato colectivo de buena fe.
But when Victor went on to lead workers on a strike, he found that the company had put him and other strikers on a region-wide employer blacklist, making it impossible to get other work. It's a classic strike breaking.
Boy, wow, boy. So how these companies work in tandem? Like, hey, don't hire him because he actually care about his community, which his coworkers. He gonna go to your place. He gonna go to your job and your corporation and do the same thing. So don't get him no job at all. Just some dirty, evil, conniving shit, man. These corporations are fucking evil, bro. They are so fucking evil. And to the people that defend these corporations, and they have a right to do this. You know what I mean? Like, they have a right. You the problem. You the problem. As they say, you simping for a corporation that will fire your ass any fucking second. Crazy.
Tactic, illegal in the U.S. and in many other countries.
Inclusive tenemos testimonios de trabajadores que comentaron que fueron a varias maquiladoras y que todas les decían lo mismo, que no los podían contratar porque venían de un lugar donde había un conflicto.
A coalition of American and Mexican unions asked the Biden administration to sanction the company under the USMCA for blacklisting strikers. But this time, the administration did not take action.
At the end of the day,
I wonder why. You wonder why, right? You should know why they didn't take action.
The community of Burlington, Iowa, the surrounding communities need follow through. My members at the plant that are currently working right now, we need the follow through from our elected officials.
Victor and his colleagues have now been on strike.
Problem when your elected officials are bought by these corporations again. Of course, they're gonna side with the corporations all the time. It's gonna have to take fuck do electoralism like that, that shit don't work. In order for things to actually change, to keep this shit from happening, to keep foreign, workers in other countries from getting screwed over by these same corporations that screw us over, that take our jobs to all the countries, it has to be a revolutionary tactic that we have to use. Like it has, like that's where we at this point. Like it's like electoralism doesn't work. You just get a lot of word salad, or you get a lot of empty promises. Like I think people are waking up. I'm gonna end it there. Like I said, I ain't gonna play the whole thing. Y'all get the gist of the video, but at the end of the day, man, like, yes, it's not working, bro. Like electoralism is not working. Like every 4 years you check a box on the voting roll for a person that's not gonna do shit for you. Like this shit is not working. We tried this strategy. Like for example, on the left, we tried Bernie Sanders, we tried the Squad, we tried Justice Democrats, but either they sold their soul to the Democratic Party, or they just or they fabricated a story to make them seem like, hey, they were working class, but actually they wasn't. AOC, but so yeah, y'all, that's that. I got one more article for y'all, and then I'm gonna close it out. Okay, guys. Before I get to the next and last story, I hate to end it off on I want to say a sad note, but I usually want to end my live streams off on a good note, because life is just like, well, it's so hard to live. But like the video as well, free, don't cost you a damn thing. Now the next video I'm gonna pull up, this is from More Perfect Union. This was a few years ago, talking about why it's so hard to imagine life without capitalism. Like, let's say, assuming if we do have a a lot of people don't like using this word anymore, kind of weird, revolution or something like that, some sort of like that. To be honest with you, we don't know what the revolution will look like. We all picture different things, like different scenarios, what could happen, but we really don't know what it could look like, man. I might not even live to see a revolution in my lifetime. And maybe my Gen Alpha will grow up and have a revolution. Like right now, we us as millennials are trying to make sure Gen Alpha grow up and have a functioning normal society like other countries, like China, for example. But a lot of people do feel like that. Like people saying like, I don't know about communism. I really don't know about that. Or socialism. Yeah, because we so used to capitalism. Well, you know how capitalism works. Like the wealth hoards all the wealth. I mean, the wealthy hoards all the wealth, and they give us, working class peasants crumbs. And we just, it's kind of hard to deprogram that. Like it takes time. People, like when you talk to people, don't expect them to just agree with you. Like, yeah, you're right, man. We need to form a more socialist society and all that stuff.
Either a description of a book, a movie, or with a quote. So here's all three at the same time. In the movie The Usual Suspects, Kevin Spacey's character, nothing but capitalism has ever been allowed space in the public consciousness. We live in a time where there's a, quote, widespread sense that not only is capitalism the only viable political and economic system, but also that it is now impossible even to imagine a coherent alternative to it.
My thing is, it doesn't have to be. Listen. Change can be scary sometimes, but my thing is, what could motivate people is, imagine like just being suppressed so many times by your oppressor, which is the oligarchy, and you want to say to yourself like, this shit gotta end. Like, I'm looking at my life now, I'm being miserable because of capitalism. I got kids that's growing up, or I got nieces and nephews that's growing up. I want a better society, not only for myself, but for my future generations. Like capitalism, like we don't have to live under capitalism. That's by Mark Fisher. That's just fucking cap. You see what I'm saying? So let me continue.
It's a feeling about the world that's probably best captured by British PM Margaret Thatcher, who famously said, "There is no alternative," or by political scientist Francis Fukuyama, who declared that we've arrived at the end of history, or even by nominally socialist Labour politician Tony Blair, who said that we live in a post-ideological society, where there is no longer a left-wing or a right-wing management of the economy, only economic policy that works.
No, he's not wrong, because corporations run our politics. Like TP always said, wolves in sheep clothing. Like, they talk a good game, but at the end of the day, they don't do shit for you. And particularly, she's talking about the Democratic Party, but you kind of could say about the Republicans too. Like, we there for the working man, the Democrats, they love identity politics, but they do the same shit the Democrats do. Serve the corporate dough.
There are a lot of quotes this episode. Capitalist realism is this idea that we've hit the end of the line in terms of economic models, and now politics can be about making the terminus look a little nicer. And it's not hard to see just how hegemonic that feeling is. Just earlier this year, when baby formula shortages triggered a countrywide scramble, Mayor Pete had his own little capitalist realism moment, for example. He said, quote, "This is a capitalist country. The government does not make baby formula, nor should it. Companies make formula." For Pete,
this video came out a few years ago, but yeah, that's the problem. Capitalism, because there's a baby formula shortage, it gives them the right to increase it by, and still, baby formula is still high in 2025, by the way. I look at some prices of it. It's still high, and there's no shortage anymore, so yeah. Bullshit.
Pete, the very idea that even in a crisis, anything but a market solution to a problem could be suggested was inconceivable. Like he said, it's just not what capitalist countries do. And capitalist realism is a feeling that's inside us as much as it's in political discourse. Almost every week on this channel, I will critique some aspect or consequence of the capitalist economic model. And almost every week, I'll see a well-intentioned comment saying something to the effect of, "Capitalism might be flawed or even downright cruel, but at the end of the day, it's the best we've got."
Again, like, that's what they want us to think. They want us to think that this is all we got, man. We can't change this. This is when that doomerism part comes in. Like, this is second thought. Shout out to him. The guy made this video. He brought up doomerism. Like, that's a new term, because a lot of people don't know what that is. Basically, it is like, hey, life is what it is. There's nothing we can do. Like, they got us by, what they say, a bare head or some quote like that, which is a lie. Like, we have a lot of power. Like, I'm pretty sure, like with the Luigi situation, like, Luigi alone, knowing what he did, yeah, it was a rogue act, and a lot of people, the intellectuals on my side, like, saying that, they wouldn't have, he shouldn't have done it that way, which my thing is, sometimes, yeah, I get what you're saying, but again, it's like, doing it the other way, by protesting, and, sometimes you have to do rogue acts for things to open up. Like, it takes a rogue act, like what Luigi did. Like, yeah, a normal society, like, doing things on your own, like doing some rogue like that on your own would not be acceptable. But it's coming to a point of time where, like if people say Luigi is wealthy and all that shit, like, sometimes it comes to a point of time where it has to take a person that's not on our side. Because I think, I don't want to bring up the flaws of the left, but like, we ain't got our shit together. We far from a coalition. Like, we ain't a coalition. It's just a bunch of, you got the extreme leftists, quote unquote extreme leftists, and you got the leftists that are willing to side with the Democrats. Like, we're not together, and yeah, strategy wise now. But again, it's like, yeah.
After all, hasn't everything else been tried and failed? For most generations growing up after the 80s, our political imagination begins and ends with capitalism. Hardly anyone defends it wholesale, but while capitalism can certainly be resisted, critiqued, and even modified, there is a deep-seated belief within most of us who have lived through the neoliberal era that while capitalism has some wiggle room, it can't actually be overcome. It is easier to imagine the end of the world than the end of capitalism. This week, we're going to focus on that idea for a while. We're going to look at how capitalist realism gets anchored in society, what political purpose it serves, and how we can try to overcome it and actually have a little bit of freedom in our political and economic imagination. First, we should talk about how we're all poisoned with this idea. And the place to start is with the death of alternatives. Hardly anyone thinks capitalism is really handling the world all that well. The global wealth gap keeps growing, environmental collapse is more likely each and every year, social services keep getting gutted, and we live in a perpetual state of economic crisis, recession, or inflation depending on the year. Things are pretty bad, and there are clear ways in which an economic model that seeks growth and profit at all costs, backed up by the most powerful governments in the world, at the very least seriously contributes to the mess we're in. But
the original basis of the government is to regulate this shit. And they have since the 80s, to be honest with you, due to, Citizens United and basically these corporate oligarchs buy their way into the government, which led us to this point. Like, if things were regulated the way they should be, and workers were able to thrive and not have to, again, like I said, thrive naturally. Like, hey, we producing your shit, we working 40 hours a week, plus hours a week to do things, and you guys are hoarding all the wealth because it's legal to do so. Like, legalized theft is what these corporations are doing. And my thing is that, like, things have got to change, but it won't change through electoralism. I think our government is just too much dirty money in politics now. It's on the national level. Local level, you can make changes on your, you can do more things. It's more simplified. Like, yeah, it's money, corporate money on the state level. Oh yeah, I'm living in a state where like corporations come in and build new facilities and they get tax breaks because they can, unfortunately. But like, I think we can do more on the local level. That's why I'm prioritizing organizing on the local level. Like these days, that's why I say get to know your neighbors. That's why I'm gonna start saying that on social media, because capitalism is destroying all of us, no matter what income bracket you in. Like I said, the white collar workers, the blue collar workers, like we all on the same level. Like, you white collar, you bake, your bank account ain't you probably ain't in the red, but eventually, things are gonna get worse. It's gonna affect you too. So
still, in the back of your mind, some part of you can't really imagine anything better. French philosopher Alain Badiou probably captured this aspect of capitalist realism the best, saying, quote, "We live in a contradiction, a brutal state of affairs, profoundly inegalitarian, where all existence is evaluated in terms of money alone, is presented to us as ideal. To justify their conservatism, the partisans of the established order cannot really call it ideal or wonderful. So instead, they have decided to say that all the rest is horrible. Sure, they say we may not live in a condition of perfect goodness, but we're lucky that we don't live in a condition of evil. Our democracy is not perfect, but it's better than the bloody dictatorships. Capitalism is unjust, but it's not criminal like Stalinism. We let millions of Africans die of AIDS, but we don't make racist nationalist declarations like Milosevic. We kill Iraqis with our airplanes, but we don't cut their throats with machetes like they do in Rwanda." End quote. If things are better,
He's saying that, yeah, we might not be rogue. I had to use that term again. Like, we don't do rogue shit, but we criticize, the other people doing the same rogue type shit. Like, we do rogue shit too, but we do it in more perpetual way, I guess. Yeah, that's why I hate the United States being the world police. Like, we should not be the world's police. For what? For what? Spread our capitalist venomism on the other countries. Like, we look at China, for example. Like, this is why the United States don't like China, because they know like, these motherfuckers know, like, what China's doing, holding billionaires accountable, alleviating homelessness, like shit like that. We could do it too, but see, the problem is that Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase, Amazon, Walmart, all these corporations, it's in their government's back pocket. So they do that, it will hurt them consequentially. Oh, God.
Bad, at least we should be grateful that they could be worse. And this is a very effective rhetorical strategy. Because with this perspective we adopt over years of repetition, even critiques of capitalism can end up reinforcing capitalist realism. Since all the alternatives have been painted as so irredeemably, inexcusably evil, so devoid of complexity or reason, so one-sided and deterministic, when we criticize capitalism, supposedly the best system of all, we are actually digging an even deeper hole for everything else. After all, if capitalism can be this awful, just imagine how hellish anything else must be. And that's only one part of the way capitalist realism becomes normalized and so
So yeah, we could do our dirt, but we criticize the other people that do dirt as well, basically. Yeah, that totally makes sense. But that's the United States in a nutshell.
ingrained in our minds. For capitalism to have this kind of unquestionable status as the only viable economic system, we're not just told it's the best we have, it's even more fundamental than that. It's just the way the world works. Capitalism isn't...
That's a lie. Look at China. I said earlier, China's not using the capitalism model. In China right now, when the genocide was happening, they actually in school showing the kids of the genocide in Gaza, right? Basically telling them that it's bad. Like, teaching the kids young about, colonialism, imperialism, and capitalism as well, probably too. Like, yeah, we don't do that here. What we do here is, we give Israel money to kill Palestinians, and we basically censor the folks that are telling the other masses that, yeah, genocide is bad. So we get censored. So yeah, and capitalism also entails on our black community as well by basically saying that, hey, get your own grind. You gotta grind. You gotta sacrifice. You gotta hustle. Like, we're centering around black excellence with capitalism. Like, that's not what black excellence is. See what I'm saying? Like, and that's why in the black community there's a lot of influx as well. See, yeah, like, the hustle game. Like, I see some people I know do that, and I don't mind, people hustling. Is that what you want to do? If you want to hustle just to do it because you enjoy it, that's one thing. But if you hustling because you've been told in your head that you have to do it to survive, no. Like, people, like, yeah, people do that stuff like that. It has a very consequential toll on you.
Even the best choice between a rock and a hard place, it's not a choice at all. It's natural. Resisting it is as pointless as trying to resist the laws of physics. There are a million different ways this idea manifests, but probably the most famous one is that capitalism is little more than a reflection of human nature. It's often repeated that humans are naturally greedy, naturally competitive, naturally selfish, like all other animals.
That's not true. I'm not greedy. I'm not selfish. People that do mutual aid is not greedy and selfish, but we are taught that, hey, people love money. People want to make money. People think about money all the time, which is not true. But that's what we've been taught. I've been taught this too as well. Not like broad like that, but in like stages, like like how your parents tell you, or your schools. Like my school pushed me to go to college. Like my English teacher in 12th grade, she helped us fill out, financial aid and stuff like that. When at the time, thinking about it now, I should have went to trade school because a college degree is, especially with AI, it's kind of worthless. Not all college degrees are worthless. I'm not saying that. If you want to go to college abroad. It's free. The only thing you got to pay for, which is way cheaper than a fucking $70,000 student loan debt. And student loan debt is just pay for your room and board and shit like that. Like, outside of that, like, go to college for free. And then you come back and apply the knowledge you learn. You probably get a better experience going overseas anyway, because you get to experience things, how people, roam and how they live. And it's probably more socialistic than us. I'm pretty sure the country you go to with free college also got free health care as well. So you get the experience going to a doctor without pulling out your insurance card or pulling out your copay, which we do here, yeah. But let me continue, man. I just got so much to say.
And therefore, nothing but capitalism could ever coexist with human nature. It's an idea that stems from two things. A really vague description of capitalism being the only economic system with things like competition or self-interest, and the idea that human nature and the natural world more generally only reward one thing: competition. But let's quickly dismiss both these ideas. Capitalism is a specific economic system with specific criteria, and it's only existed for a very short time. It's not competition, greed, markets, freedom, or any other vague one-word definition. Capitalism can be distinguished from previous and future economic models by at least three things. 1. The existence of capital. In simple terms, money with the primary purpose of growth, instead of money that's just a method of accounting or exchange, for example. 2. Private property. The ownership by single individuals of the means of economic production, meaning things like factories, businesses, farms, and so on are owned privately instead of collectively, and are therefore subjected to the decisions of the necessarily outnumbered class that owns them. And 3. Wage labor. The class without private property sells its labor to the class with private property for a wage. Markets, competition, self-interest, and so on all existed long before capitalism, and there's a good chance they'll exist after. But they do not define it. Otherwise, we'd have a really imprecise and impractical definition. Now the second part of that equation. Competition and greed aren't uniquely natural or the defining feature of human nature. You've certainly heard Darwin's theory of evolution being described with the sentence, "survival of the fittest." And while evolution is a matter of scientific fact, this specific framing of evolution being the product of competition, with the intentional slip-up between two definitions of fittest, is neither neutral nor scientific. When Darwin was writing about evolution, he wasn't doing it in a vacuum. Highly influenced by the writings of economist Thomas Malthus, Darwin saw in evolution the features of a capitalist economy he was reading about at the time, and framed his writing with that in mind. It's not some accident that defenders of capitalism find...
I guess you could say Darwin seemed like, when he studied evolution, like, go get your own survival of the fittest. Like that, in other words, saying like you have to get your own, you have to produce, you have to inherit as much wealth as possible. That's crazy though, just to think about that. My thing is, I'm not gonna play this whole thing. I'm gonna end it here, but it's like wouldn't you rather like have a society where you own the means of production? Like, wouldn't that make sense? Like anybody that's working in a factory, for example, manufacturing, yeah, jobs like that. or even working in the office. Like, you the ones that are the paper pushers. You doing all the work while your boss looking over your head every 5 to 10 minutes, dictating, critiquing your work and all that stuff, and getting on your nerves as well. Like, that should be owned by you and your coworkers. Like, I don't understand why people ass kiss up to capitalism. Again, people literally do that. Like, oh, you just lazy. You just don't want to work hard. It's not capitalism. Is not about working hard. Like, don't you know that a lot of these billionaires now inherit wealth from their past family that was billionaires at the time, but billionaires or even high millionaires? Like, they didn't work hard for shit. I don't understand. Like Donald Trump. Like, his father gave him a $1 million loan. Elon Musk's parents was rich in South Africa. It's weird to me this day Elon don't talk about apartheid in South Africa. Yeah, yeah, but it ain't about him. I talked about Elon enough. It like they inherit wealth. Like, they didn't have to go out and hustle. Like, y'all think these billionaires actually, really pave the pavement, as people say? Hell no. Hell no. Like, that's what I'm trying to get. It's like, us as leftists, the more radical leftists, we need to try our best and deprogram people from the capitalist, the way they look at the world now, which we are in the capitalist society, obviously. We're not in the socialist society yet. I ain't gonna be like, we want that, we ambition that, but we're not there yet. Like, it's still a lot of, like, even at my job, this guy, he talk about people being like, people really don't want to strive for nothing. Like, there's jobs out there that hire people and all that stuff. But it's not about, it's not about people not wanting to work. It's just, at the end of the, people are working hard. It's just, they're just struggling, dude. Like, that's what I try to tell them. But, we don't see eye to eye. But it is what it is, Everybody got an opinion, like they got an ass. Like, that's true. All right, guys. About the end of that, man. It's wow. Like, this topic here is hot. Like, this video had 2 million views on it. It deserved way more than that. But, shout out to Second Thought for putting these videos together. Like, this shit ain't easy, man. It's not easy doing, like, research, and you gotta know what to say and know what to do, and you gotta edit it. It's hard. Like, a lot of people just think we just big blabbermouth personalities, just want to get clout. I'm not on here for the clout, man. If 3 people watch this live stream, I hope they get something out of it. That's my goal. Like, I'm not worried about how many subscribers I have. I'm not worried about how many Twitter followers I have. Like, I just post true stuff, and if people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Slander is a little bit outrageous, but that comes with a price. When you on the right side of history, people come at you negatively, and you gotta overlook the shit. And like Ty Peasant said herself, Liz, like, we need to learn. I guess we always try. The negative shit always comes at you first, but you need to, like, look at the positive stuff, the positive shit. Like, I'm pretty sure I get a lot of positive comments, but for some reason, Twitter's algorithm, which is why it's successful, prioritizes the negative shit. I noticed that. Like, when I used to look at my notifications or posts, I always see these bots and trolls, like, saying negative shit. And I need to just look over that. Just hide the reply, block them, do what I gotta do. I'm not a block happy person. Hell, I don't even look at the shit. I don't know who's saying who about me. Like, at some point in time, when you in this space, I've been in this space for not really long at all. You gotta learn to not give a fuck. All right, guys, that's the show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is a different one. I'm streaming on a Sunday, like I usually do my 2 shows, the Good Faith Show and ATP Live on Monday through Friday. But I couldn't do a show yesterday because I had some errands to run. So, not yesterday, on Friday, because I had some errands to run. So, Thank you guys so much for putting up with my ass. Because I know I'm not, I'm not easy guy to, to look at or get along with. But, I try my best to be a better person. I'm not perfect at all, man. I have flaws. When I critique people, like I always tell people, I'm not perfect. It's some things I can do better. Like even as a founder of the network, like maybe I could communicate better with people. Like it's always people that, you wouldn't, I hate to say it like that, fuck with, but you know that you both have the same common goal to meet. You wouldn't work with them. So I learned that too. All right, guys. Before you leave, or you just not watching, like the video, rewind it from the beginning, or just going, just look at my ugly ass face for a second, like the video, helps us out in the algorithm, and also on the bottom of your ticker, me and Ty Peasant is on red note now because TikTok will be eventually going, and Twitter just suppressing us like a motherfucker. So follow us on red note. Our usernames are right there on the bottom of the screen. Ty Peasant 85 and Andre X24. So thank you guys so much for watching ATP Live. I'm Andre Morton, signing out. Have a good one. And also, too, fuck Benjamin Netanyahu.